Welcome to Modern Homestead, Alaska. I am Jessica, and today our in-ground garden is going to go in this video. And starting out, it is covered in plastic. We're trying to bring the temperature of the soil up with an unseasonably cold spring that we have had. We're about to mow it and till it all in and plant it out. Won't you join us? So I always just mow all of the leaves and hay or straw or any composty type things that are left in the garden before Erin tills it all in, and it just breaks it down into small enough chunks. But the wood walkways, the wood chips that we make from our trees and all of that stuff, this walkway and that walkway, none of those are going to be tilled into the garden. They'll stay permanent walkways. But yeah, it is so exciting. We pulled all the plastic off. The garden is nice and ready to be tilled under. I have tons of garlic that's actually growing. I pulled all of the hay off of that. We'll kind of chop it up, let it turn green, and then put it in there because it doesn't like weed pressure. And then I found several heads of garlic that must have broke off, something must have happened, but they grew. And so any holes I have in the garlic, I'm gonna plant those out. So Erin is getting the tiller going for me, and we are going to get it all turned under. And this year, I think I'm gonna run the rows this way so that when you pull up and see the garden, because there used to be the woodshed in front of it, that now you see the row of dahlias for our son's wedding. I think that's going to be so exciting. It's actually so windy out that I got in the truck to film and make sure that I have some audio because it's typical Palmer. Over here at Alaska Matsu Meats, we are able to get compost from Wasilla Organics. So what Erin and I are grabbing is some straight compost for the garden. That's going to be the topping for the garden. And then we're doing a garden mix, which is 50% compost and 50% topsoil, and that is what we're going to use for the landscaping and the trees, and then maybe come in with some more compost on top of that, or maybe for this year that's what we go with, and then next year we bring in some fresh compost for everything. We'll work out and figure it out as best we can. Everything is so behind schedule up here because of where the compost is made was frozen for so stinking long that many people are skipping it or moved on to something else. But I can tell you, after several years of gardening here in Alaska and trying compost and soil and mixes from other places, there is a reason that in my class, the garden class that I took, they swore by the best compost in the state is Wasilla Organics, and it is a bag product that you can also pick up at like Mid-Valley Greenhouse and Alaska Mill and Feed and all of these different places buy their bagged local compost, so you can for like a little raised bed, something like that if you live locally. But it is the best soil, compost, and combination around. Holy moly though, the wind, goodness. That is nasty. All right, now that we got it home, and it's not windy at our house. This is not like Palmer at all. We covered it up. So what's in the back here at the far back is 2 yards of straight compost. The straight compost is going to go as a garden topper. And then the rest of it is a garden soil, like I was saying, and it's gonna go over there to the trees, and we wanna get everything planted out and done. I am going to get a tarp out, where I'm standing between the garden and the chicken coop. Oh, I twisted it together. Huh? I twisted it together. So I'm going to put a tarp right here. He's gonna move some straight compost so that I can wheelbarrow it or bucket it in, because I just put it on top of my rows. So when I build out my rows, I'm gonna put it on the garlic, on the tomatoes, and so on, but I'm not turning it into the soil. It will work its way down into it. So I gotta get a tarp, and then we'll dump the rest of it over here. I will help him do the tree part so that he can work on the dirt while I do the garden. So he's coming this way. Dad's coming this way. Oh, Layla. Oh, Layla. Tractor.
So close.
The tractor reaches a little better.
I don't think it'll reach in it any better, no.
Are these meant to dump, not divide?
What?
They're not supposed to be hand dug out. Supposed to just dump them.
Where's that bigger scoop?
The pink one?
Oh, well, let's give me that, huh? Snow shovel thing?
Can you see them? We were in the garden, and so they are right here because they have to watch over everything I'm doing. If you start the tractor or truck, they'll take off while they, like, oh crap, they left us. Last night, Aaron helped me get all the rows and the walkways laid out, and so now I'm just going to start one row at a time planting out the garden. So I'll work on this walkway first, and I will mostly just move most of the dirt this way into this. This is the garden row, walkway, garden row, walkway, garden row, walkway, garden row, walkway. You get the point, the drift. Okay, so we map it all out. with the pink string. And before my garden ran, well, the first year it was big squares. So we did a square foot gardening method, and then it was several beds all over. The second, that was the first year after my garden class. The second year after my garden class, we put in the new fence, which increased it to include the raspberries that are over there. It opened it up a little bit that way, a little bit this way. No big deal. Now I have that's a permanent walkway over there, some over there, and some where I'm standing at all. Then the following 2 years, the rows ran this direction, and this year they're running this direction. So I am looking forward to that and excited. I have planned out what I'm thinking. So flowers and possibly the brassicas. One of these has to be potatoes. One has to be pumpkins, squash. If you can't hear me, hold on. All right, he got another load of dirt. There he goes. Okay, so one of them will be like the vining things, all of your pumpkins and squashes and all of that. And then one of them will be heavily carrots and celery, along with some lettuce and some other things, because our focus on the garden this year is going to be what stores, what is like the biggest bang for our buck, victory garden type of idea, growing enough potatoes to last us a year, trying to grow enough carrots to last the year, squash and pumpkins, those things store really, really well, and then the brassicas, so I can freeze lots of cauliflower and broccoli and things like that if we can get them. Cabbages, light on the cabbages. Why? Because I mostly eat them fresh. I don't really freeze those very well. But what can we put in our pantry? Of course, we have the wedding. We want to have beauty in our garden and our life, and so we have all of those dahlias, which hopefully, because all of our dahlias that we saved last year came back, hopefully in the future we can dig up these dahlias and they'll go in the landscape. Once all of this giant project is out of here, out of our way, and we start tucking flower beds in and those sort of things, every year I'd love to learn to dig up those dahlias, let them multiply, have the 3 points that separate them, make more and more and more and more, and just have beautiful flowers and stuff throughout the entire garden and season. So I'll probably pop some sunflower seeds in here, some other things, just some really beautiful stuff. But to get started, I'm just going to clean up the row, get this one raked out, ready to go. We got our compost. I had to cover it up because Layla and Duke thought that this was playland over here. They had it like all in their mouth, like what disasters. Anywho, got it covered up. We'll do a compost topping on each bed, and then it makes it just look really, really beautiful. Last thing we're gonna show you before I hush and just get to work is I did come through last night. These are the garlic, and all of the garlic came up. I found some garlic cloves somewhere else in the garden. So the white ones that look a little bit sad, they are just kind of tucked in amongst the garlic, but everything that is green overwintered in this location. Will they transplant? We don't know, but I told Aaron, we're never wrong. We're just learning. So when you found a garlic clove that overwintered, started to sprout, but in a totally wrong spot of the garden, it's going to get lost, it's going to get tilled under or thrown away. Might as well try and transplant it and see what happens. A couple of them seem to be coming out of the white, like maybe they will work. We don't know, but isn't that a beautiful sight? It was apparently a horrific winter, even worse than the winter before when we lost nearly all of the garlic. This garlic has survived 2 winters up here now, and we keep replanting the seeds, building a stronger variety of garlic here for our homestead. And then I did get all of the outside tomatoes planted. Aaron hit that pile of dirt and it killed the skid steer because it was too much. And Peaches started yelling at him. He goes, "Stop laughing at me." Peaches is our little dairy cow. I had to put this board here because she stole an entire tomato. There it is. Killed it, ate the whole top of it, gone, gone, gone. So I think I'm gonna put a cage over this one, and then Aaron's gonna help me put a fence post there to stop her from getting in here. Anyway, these tomatoes are meant for our specific area and to be outside. And you can only get them from Mid-Valley Greenhouse because Mid-Valley Greenhouse, the owner, has spent years making this seed. And that goes the same for the garlic and other stuff. Once something produces a really beautiful crop, it can withstand our weather and our temperatures and our light and all of those things. And you take seeds from that plant and you plant them again the following season, they become even more resilient. So sometimes you got to kind of baby something along for a couple of years, and then suddenly it's like, yep, I got a super crop for you here. That is the garlic. When everyone else lost their garlic last year, we had very little survive. I took every single clove that we grew last year and had none for storage, none for harvest, none at all. And I put it here knowing it was a risk. Then had such a bad winter that people's septics and things that have never frozen before froze. Frost heaves on the chicken shed. Like, it was so cold for a very long period of time. It caused a lot of stuff to freeze that didn't. And we did such a good job on our insulation on these, and it being their second season in this exact garden right here in the area of Alaska that we're in, that it all came up. It all came up. That is amazing. So then what is the goal? If all this produces beautiful heads, we eke it along, we get it all taken care of, then half of it will become the following year's harvest, and half of it will be what our family stores and eats for the year. So that is beautiful, and we're just continuing to build a really strong garlic crop. And then the tomatoes, they were looking super sad when we got them planted out, but they are starting to look very happy today. Gave them a little bit of food and the compost top, and the weather is below 80 degrees today. In fact, it's going to be in the 50s, so it is nice and cool. Perfect day. Now, let's get started on the rows and planting out. Well, there's our first bed. It is beautiful. There's a little notch in this one because of the gate right here. And I like to be able to pull in a wheelbarrow, my wagon, any of those things, and turn it around. And then I'll put down, maybe newspaper this year or cardboard, and we'll throw more wood chips on top of it and just get everything tidied up after we get it all planted out. Now, I'm not going to do the compost layer until I lay out the dahlias. So this is all flowers. Let's see what we can find, get all of that planted out. All right, all in all, we had very good luck with the dahlias. So white mix, romantic, Evelyn, and then these are just either mini pom-poms or ones that I pulled out of the ground last year. These two in the pots I pulled out of the ground last year. Everything is going to get nasturtiums around it. Nasturtiums do incredibly well up here, and they get massive. They're an excellent trap plant. So if something wanted to eat the dahlias, it may choose to eat the nasturtiums instead. What do we got here? anemone, ranunculus, freesia, and the astabella, however you say that, the salmon color. So these will come along the back side of the dahlias, and then we'll interplant the nasturtiums, and then I have a couple of other flower seeds that we'll throw in here. So let me first get all the dahlias in and show you how we're going to set them up. So all of the dahlias are going to get a label because I would like to save them in one of these frames if I can get the frame reasonably around it, and they're pretty simple. They spiral on like so. Work it around. Okay, start on that end. There we go. And I believe each one gets 3. So we'll do those in a minute. Let's first get all the dahlias in. So I think I just kind of dug a little trench in between. So this is the awkward bed. So we have the 3 dahlias here, and then starting in the middle on the dahlias on one side, flowers on the other, I'm going to put a bunch of peppermint stick zinnias. So I think this are going to complement all of it and look really, really beautiful together. I think that'll be sweet. They do not like to be seed started up here, and I have so many of them. We should have like beautiful layers of flowers by the end of the season. Well, we got one bed done. It's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we started pretty decently early. So I'll just keep trucking along. Aaron got that load of topsoil, compost mix, garden soil mix, and then he got a new hose for me, and then ran a hose for my trees over there. And so we're gonna try it out, huh?
Sure.
Because you changed the pressure on the house. We have like super water pressure now, which we've never had, but it's so dry, but I do not want it beating down. And then I have extra compost if I need it once we start watering it in. Let's take a look at this bed really quick. So I filled in with the nasturtiums like we talked about, all the dahlias. I popped in a couple of super petunias just to be flowers in the flower bed. And something beautiful. And then these match all of the pots around the garden. We have the anemone, fuchsia, ranunculus, the astabella, astelbe. How do you say that? A-S-T-I-L-B-E. Anyway.
Google it.
Chocolate cosmos. Oh, whoa. Oh man, what is that? What's that top deal? Just a...
Like you have a leak.
Just a doohickey there? Look at you.
That's because you're broken. You bent it.
Nice. Give her a good soaking. And then I can take down 2 of the strings All right, we are gonna throw the potatoes in the ground really quick. So we have brassicas, we have our flower row. The flower row, as great of an idea as it is for the wedding and all of these different things that we're doing, it has really made like the vegetable side a little bit difficult. I have some brassicas that I didn't plant out for the potatoes. We have a red chieftain, a Nicola, a dark red Norland, a California white, and I think this is Sora, S-O-R-A-Y-A, okay? So potatoes are super simple. We're gonna plant the whole potato. I'm gonna dig probably 3 trenches, just drop the potatoes in and then label wherever I drop them in, cover them over. I didn't do the compost topping because these get buried deep enough that it just messes it up. I went ahead and did the compost, as you saw in the time lapse, where the brassicas go, because I can just poke little holes in there without messing up the look of the final garden. And then we'll get all of this watered in, everything watered again, and then start on these last 2 beds. So I still have 2 more beds. One has got to be like lettuces and carrots and all of those things, and then this one needs to be like pumpkins and some stuff. And then I was also thinking down the center of it we would do beans and peas, vining beans and peas, and run down the middle of it like something for them to trellis up on. And I think that would be really, really beautiful. Or I may do that on the edge, on the sides, as like kind of a walkway sort of thing. So with that said, let's start burying some potatoes. The dozer's coming! Layla! So I think for this row, I'll start at this end, and it may be where I do the trellis for the beans and peas and such. And what I'm thinking, the more vining things at that end, those can trellis up, figure that out. And then, so our zucchinis and our yellow squash and those sort of things, they just grow up the stem. So they can kind of be planted a little bit closer together. Where, of course, like the Connecticut field pumpkin or the sugar pumpkins, they need way, way more space. And again, we brought in 8 yards of garden soil over there. I might just, you know, plant a bunch of stuff out this year and not worry about wood chips. I may turn my entire flower bed into a garden bed over there just to see what we can get done. So I am going to start with the squashes at this end, because that is something I can blanch and freeze and use throughout the year. It is thundering and raining, and I am putting the compost on the very last row in the garden, and that one's gonna be seeds. It'll take me quite a while to plant out, but I thought I have the greenhouse completely clear to plant, except for I just brought the tomatoes in that we're gonna pot up. The tomatoes are gonna go in here. There's some outside tomatoes in the garden already, but I wanted to show you really quick how I do the tomatoes. So this was a garden mix, which is what we put by the trees and the landscaping area that we're doing. And then every year I do a mix of it with some straight compost. And then I'm gonna look in here, I'm gonna pull out any big root systems, but you'll also notice there's like some potting soil, so you'll see the little white things that keep the soil kind of light and airy and fluffy and broken up and that sort of stuff. And my compost is like, so it does not pack together. It's not gonna pack in around the roots. But what I like to do, let's do one dirt, and then we're gonna top this off with compost. However, I threw the rest of the bag of garden tone, just a straight garden vegetable type of fertilizer in here. And so we are going to charge the soil. Tomatoes are very heavy feeders, so I can do a decent amount. So about like that, just a nice little coating. See if the arrow, move that snaky stuff out of the way. Whew. The other day I was doing the fishbone meal and it was blowing back on me so hard. Oh my gosh, I had to go in and take a shower. It was so nasty. All right, so now I'm gonna put the compost to the top. And sometimes I do this in a wheelbarrow. Sometimes, today I have this bucket already out here, and now I'm just gonna mix this in. Just start at one end and toss it. It's very, very dry, but that's all right. I have a little water out here, but I have a hose that can reach here now, so that is wonderful. The tomatoes were watered in last night, and then it's rained on them all day, because I was gonna do this out by the compost pile to make my life a little bit easier, but the weather is not cooperating, and I need to finish getting this garden in. And I don't throw away any of the leftover soil. I will use any leftover soil bags in just another garden bed somewhere. There we go. Now, how to plant the tomatoes. Well, they're looking awfully sad. Ooh. Okay. So I'm going to take this, put it as far to the bottom as I can. And I'm going to even turn. Let me see if I can show you. I want as much of the base of this tomato in the soil as possible. Now this one, she's going to be fine, but she is having a hard life right now. So let's get some soil in underneath, and then I want to turn it upright. And then all those hairs along the stem are going to become the new roots. Do you hear the thunder? It never thunders here. I think this is like the third time I've ever heard it since I lived in Alaska. There we go. Okay, I had to get a non-broken stick. Okay. There we go. All right. She will gain some strength. Take that leaf off. There we go. Terrible example. So now I have half a bucket of compost and this one, but I need the bag, which shows you like we're gonna have half of the soil bags left. Just tuck that in. We'll mix that up next. But in the meantime, next. Well, good morning, friends. Just a little towards the end of the video because I think this is the last day. Update. My body is screaming at me. So much so that on Saturday I dropped my phone in the lake. A little kid dove down and got my phone, but it has been dead ever since, and it is Thursday when I'm filming this. So we've tried drying it out. The alarm will go off, and beyond that, it has no screen. It's kaput. So I'm gonna have to get another phone. So I have enjoyed the media, the noise, the break. I'm not gonna lie, I've enjoyed it. Aaron's like every day, why have you not gone in and gotten another phone? And I said, I'm literally enjoying this. But my body hurts so bad from everything that we have been doing. I got out of bed because I have no alarm at 10:30 this morning. So I don't know what happened. I don't know how that happened or how I managed to do it, but I came out here and I nearly cried. I am so mad at my dogs. It is unbelievable. What has happened is this gate used to just auto close and then shut all the way and latch like it's supposed to. Well, if I don't close it all the way, it's a little bit wonky, it pops open. Look at what, so first I saw prints over there and a little dig hole, and I was like, okay, I can deal with footprints, although I'm annoyed. What they're digging for is the scent of the fishbone meal, which there's nothing to it. There isn't a dead fish under there. And look at what they did to the tomatoes. I like ready to be in tears. I think we can save most of it, move some of it around. They were kind of closely planted, but I'm so upset because I'm so tired. I think I'm so tired, and I'm looking forward to my favorite part of the gardening is once it's all out and done. I love to water in the evenings. I love walking through all of it and doing all that fun stuff. And I love to weed the garden, do the fertilizers and the sprays. Just, you know, the constant weekly maintenance that a garden requires is my favorite part of the gardening and watching it grow. And I am just so mad at my dogs right now. It is unbelievable. So they dug here. So they're just looking for that smell, like, and they pulled up one potato, which can go right back in its hole. They didn't eat the potato. They just dug them out and then walked all over everything. So I think I can rake it and fix it. stepped on a plant here. Maybe that guy can go back up like that. That one I might have broke, because when we planted this one, I told Aaron, oh, no, it should stand back up. Never has. Whew. I don't know that they've caused any other damage, really. This Supertunia is so beautiful from outside of the garden. The giant, you can see it across the yard, but it needs deadheaded. I don't love that. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm on the repair. Okay, I only have a handful more of tomatoes. I quit because I went in and made dinner for Aaron last night because he's out of town. So my plan today is I have all of today. Wyatt won't be home, Aaron won't be home. Just me and the neighbors hanging out, and me and my stinking dogs. Okay, I gotta fix these first. It's gonna be too hot today for any of the roots to be exposed. So let me fix that. Let me grab some gloves. So I just came in to film and watch. Now it won't do it. And I just grabbed it to walk away, and I was like this. And that is what's happening. Last night, Aaron and I were mapping out where the shop goes. And because next week they start bringing, well, over the weekend we have to get all of the landscape fabric down. You don't want to do landscape fabric where the shop is going to go, because they're going to dig a foundation and a roll of landscape fabric. Although we did not pay this for it, if you went and bought it, the value of it, the street value, if you will, is $2,000 a roll up here. So you don't want to be wasteful with something like that. But everything that is permanently gravel, and we get these questions, just address it really quick, and probably in another video to say it again. Why so much gravel? Well, first of all, there's going to be a 60 foot by 60 foot shop barn looking thing over here. There's also that we have to have places to move the snow. Why? Because most of the year it is a snow situation above and beyond all other situations. So we have to have places for it to go down these lanes and so on, and everything has to be thought through. Well, anywhere that the snow is going to go that becomes a permanent drive lane, a place to turn things around, all that fun jazz, there's going to be landscape fabric and then gravel on top of it. So Aaron and I were laying that out. I was like, oh, my drink is in the greenhouse, I'll run grab it, shut the gate like I did, and then voila, here came my dogs. I'm trying to get over it, guys. I'm just venting. I'm trying to get over it because they're doing what dogs do, and I'm complaining that a dog behaved like a dog. So let me try. On a side note, the tan line on the back of my neck is absolutely ridiculous and worse than the front. And then I was curious this morning when I go to edit this video and look back, like how different the color of my face probably has changed, because as pale skinned as I am, I have the ability to get super tan, and I am wearing SPF 70, but out here working, it's working. I'm not getting sunburnt, but it's not working to the point like I'm not getting any color, and I have a gnarly tan line on my back now, and the dress I'm wearing to Caleb's wedding now has me panicked because it has sleeves, just small sleeves. So if you saw the color of me totally change throughout this video, hello 24 hours of sunlight. All right, I got it raked up. Look at it now. I think I lost 2. One here and one there. What is wild is I had 2 extras that are way too close to the front here, but I thought, hey, if I lose one or one's struggling or whatever, I'll have these 2. Before they're too deeply rooted, I'm going to transplant them there and get all this raked up, and then any extra compost I can toss over here, because tomatoes can be buried super, super deep and they'll continue to do all their fun stuff. So all is not lost. No need for tears. All right, it is so warm. I keep bouncing around. ADHD, all of those fun things distract me, and I do 7,000 projects all at one time. I am in the shade. I want to be in the shade. It is really, really hot out today. And so I am going to start laying the seeds out. And then some carrots. Let's see what we're doing. Carrots, spinach, beets, but I have some beets that are pre-started, but we are going to succession plant them. Lettuces, beans and peas, corn. I don't think we're going to try it, but radish, peas and beans and beans and peas and corn. Let me start with, so like we said, what our biggest thing is, we want to plant some things that we can eat fresh that are wonderful. So some salad, some radishes, those sort of things. The beets, succession plant, some spinach you could freeze, and then carrots. I want to do the most carrots and the most celery, the most potatoes. I haven't planted any onions this year. My thought behind that is I still have not figured out how to grow a big onion. I want to devote a huge bed to it next year like this instead of the flowers. The flowers will go out in a flower bed. So I can just order onions from Azure. I can order them frozen. I can order them dried. I can order them fresh. And so that is just what I'm going to do. But produce and can and store as much from this garden as we possibly can this year, and it be things that my family eats a ton of. So we have the squashes and those things done. We have the cauliflowers and the broccolis out. The potatoes, 5 pounds of potatoes should make 50 pounds. So 50 pounds of potatoes makes 500 pounds of potatoes. And you can substitute potatoes in place of like grains and other things like that. And on Whole30, which is what the diet that I most am prone to actually like do and stick through, I'm allowed as many potatoes as I want through that, and I lose weight on that diet. So it's a eating plan, a cleanse, not an actual diet, if you will. Anyway, potatoes are great for me, carrots are great for me, all of those things are great for me. However, you can't have beans and legumes on it, although I eat peas on it, but that's just me. So carrots, most important. I want to super space them, and my friend Heather gave me some pelleted carrot seeds, and then I have some other carrot seeds, and so I'm going to really space out my carrots this year. That is my main problem. And then I have the celery. We're gonna use the celery to design our like layout, our beds, all of that fun stuff. And I think I am. Let me find where I stuck the other, oh, it's over there. I have 2 pieces of fence that I can run a post in, and I can grow my beans and peas. Okay. All right, last year I used the celery and I made a zigzag, and in each quadrant I put a different plant. It was so, so beautiful. And I think celery does such a good job of kind of dividing things out, and then it grows, and the celery starts out bigger than everything else, so you can use it as a way of telling the difference in the structure. So what my plan is just a stripe of celery here, and then all of this is going, let me see what you're looking at. Okay, stripe of celery here, all of this is carrots. Stripe of celery there, all of this is beets. Half of it is going to be the beets that we pre-started over there, and then half of it is going to be seeds. On this one, I'm going to put a center, and then this side is lettuce and that side is spinach. Spinach is also a succession plant thing. And then 2 rows here, because we're just going to do some radishes in the middle. Then here we're gonna do beans and peas. All right, now that that is planned out, I am excited. Let me get some sort of kneeling pad, or I'll turn this bucket upside down, try to reach the center. My beds are high enough. I'll go ahead and still grab all of that. And so this is my first time with pelleted carrot seed. So each one of those has a carrot seed inside of a little thing of clay. So I should be able to get them much better spaced. So we'll do these in however many rows and hope for the best. I can space them out just a second. Across the inlet from the Joint Air Force and Army base, Elmendor and whatever the rest of it is called. Anyway, there are these fighter jets like overhead doing like maneuvers. It is so loud, but they're literally just like, the inlet is like that way right there, and they just come straight across. And sometimes I'll see the great big ones at night, like the carrier planes. Oh my gosh, they look like they're going to like fly into the house. It takes so long for them to like gain elevation, but it is wild. Can you still hear those? I don't know where they went, but I had like 2 of them fly right overhead. Anyway, all right, I used 3 T-posts and just some scrap fencing that I had laying around, and this is gonna be perfect. So our green beans and yellow beans are bush style, so they grow next to the ground. They don't need a trellis. Our shelling peas and our sugar snap peas need a trellis. So I'm gonna plant them on both sides of this. They should grow up it. That should be all beautiful. And then that gave me, I started to do the rest of this. Everything was suffering, so I had to water really quick, get everything watered in, and then we'll finish planting out now. But I was like, I don't know exactly where I can go until I set this up. So I got that, and literally this will be so quick. I might as well do those right now, and then I can finish. I have 2 quadrants after that left. So let me see what beans and peas I have. All right, we have the shelling peas, but my same friend that gave me the pelleted ones gave me snap peas, shelling peas. So I'm going to try Johnny's. These are 2025, so they're still good enough. Johnny on one side, and then my shelling peas on the other. And then the green beans one side and the yellow beans on just part of the other. I may do green beans on both sides. And then I have some snow peas and snap peas. I'll just kind of put a few of them in on this shorter chunk of the fence. Let's do some snap peas. Let's see what I have here. I don't have enough good luck yet with any of these that I'm going to, I just have snap peas, sugar pod, and I don't know what is spilled. Actually, on the other side, we'll do these two. Something is spilled in here, but it is some sort of like either snow pea or snap pea or something like that. So. It is officially planted out, and I'm going to do the shavings in the walkway. So I've just done a quick rake to make sure everything is cleaned up. I do need new permanent wood shavings on this walkway. I'm not gonna do shavings, I'm gonna do wood chips on 2, 3. So everything by the raspberries is gonna be wood chips, but 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of shavings are going to go down. And oh my gosh, it is so tidy. How cute is that bed? I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so quick update because my camera died. Down here, the last thing I left you with, we are doing the peas and beans. Well, right here, this kind of half size one, I did one kind. It should get 6 foot tall corn. It's meant for up here. The other corn I did, so then there's green beans on that side, yellow green beans on this side, and on this one, because I didn't have very much yellow green beans, I did a corn that only gets about 4 foot tall, 3 to 4 foot tall, and it grows very quickly. It's supposed to be the best thing for Alaska. I had the seed packs and I had space, so I thought, you know what, forget it, let's try it out. We'll see if they germinate. I had gotten them last year. Had an issue. Oh, I forgot to tuck the seeds to the radishes in. There we go. Radishes are in. Okay. So radishes, and then I forgot that I had a pack of arugula. So there's a row of arugula there with the radishes. We have salad here and spinach over there, and so I put like a little celery down the middle, and then I put celery along the edge in hopes that it will kind of help hold. This is the tallest of all the beds, so hopefully it'll hold some of the side up and in. I am going to cover, I just raked some stuff up over the garlic here. I am going to put hay, or not hay, straw on the garlic. The reason is garlic cannot stand weed pressure. So with that, it is fine, the wood shavings, anything, because it's getting all the nutrients it needs from, I went ahead and fertilized it when I planted it. I fertilized it and then put the compost on top of it. I will come through mid-season, and you know, it'll get like a soluble fertilizer throughout the whole season, but midway through I'll come back through, pull all of the straw off of it, but it's a small layer of straw where the whole thing is still poking through, and I'll pull it back and do some granule fertilizer as well that just kind of soaks down in. So that's going to be fine. I don't think anything else needs it right now. Something I do on all of the rows as we're kind of doing the tour here before we finish, is at the end here, there's either nasturtiums or marigolds. So marigolds keep bugs away. Nasturtiums are a trap plant. So the bugs prefer the nasturtium over the other things that you're growing. So like all the way throughout the flowers, there are nasturtiums. Well, they're beautiful. They get absolutely massive up here, so I love them. Okay, so then the brassicas, so for the potatoes, there's nasturtiums at that end because they'll vine and be beautiful. But for the brassicas, right here, there are some marigolds. Why? Because marigolds just keep the bugs away. Because the nasturtium might not be strong enough to fight off what wants to eat the brassicas. Same as there are marigolds all throughout the vining. So pumpkin, squash, zucchinis, cucumbers, all of that. All the way to that end and back, but at the very end down there are some nasturtiums. They'll draw some things away from the raspberries, draw some things to themselves. However, we did marigolds there. Same thing throughout the rest of the garden. The garlic doesn't tend to get attacked too much, but because the fence is right there, the nasturtiums will grow up beautifully and kind of vine up those things. So I think we've been through everything we've planted, and now this will be my second year of using shavings. Shavings break down very, very quickly. Anything that is wood robs nitrogen, then puts nitrogen back into the soil. So over the season, it's in the walkway. It's not drawing the nitrogen from the top of the bed that is covered in compost. It's just drawing nitrogen from basically ground level. And then when it breaks down, it's putting nitrogen or compost back into the soil. It breaks down quickly, and then it does two things. It kind of helps hold moisture in, but it also wicks moisture away. How it is so amazing, I do not know, but wood chips, wood shavings, anything like that, they draw the moisture away. So when we get all of the rain up here and you can't walk because it's a muddy mess, you can walk in my garden. And then on super dry, like it is so dry, the fire danger is super high. There's a ban on burning, like all of that fun stuff right now. Unseasonably warm, coldest spring on record, unseasonably warm. Of course it is. So with that, it will help keep the sides of the beds moist. So let's get that in and take a final look, and then we're going to finish out the greenhouse tonight because I'm just tired and I want to get to the fun part, which is just living amongst my plants. I am officially done because it's 9 o'clock at night. I ran in to see what time it is and grab something, but I also have the greenhouse planted, all the tomatoes. There's a handful of plants that will either go to my neighbors for her little girls to plant out in their garden, or I have some soil left, but the greenhouse is going to be just tomatoes. I love using this bench. That works so well for me. So I thought I'd leave it. I have a bunch of fertilizers, bug killers, other things like that. And then we have all of the tomatoes potted up. Now I haven't ran the string line, so they'll get strung up to here and they can grow and all of that. And I ran these 3 huge ones down the center, but I could move them like to the side. I do have a heater if we need it, if we start dropping in temp, but all in all, it's all watered in. Tomatoes along there, but these easily could be like moved to the floor. The table becomes something else and I can tie those up, or I could move this table to the other greenhouse, work out of there. I just have some options of what I can do setup-wise, but everything is planted out. I cannot believe it. Every flower, every pot, everything is officially finished. So I'm gonna close this up, hold some heat in. Those tomatoes like the warm. Whereas these other ones are bred to be outside. Look at my mess. Every single thing you see in there had a plant in it. These, something came into the greenhouse and ate the tops out of them. So I don't think they'll grow. I have leftover pots. I have soil there. I have a huge amount of things to get done and finished, but it's at the point where everything that we're gonna grow is at least growing. Everything I wanted to get planted out, and if I have a few extras and do something different with that, that's fantastic. That's beautiful. But isn't she pretty? I think she's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh, I have a celery. I'm like, why did I just skip right there? Who knows? Tomatoes are bouncing back after our debacle. Oh, it looks gorgeous. Oh. Look, they're just playing. This is why they're such a wreck. Why they can't get into the spaces that are mine. You guys ready to go inside? You ready for dinner? Feed the dogs? Yeah, feed the dogs, they say. All right, there you have it. If you enjoyed this beautiful garden plant out, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you have, thank you for being part of the channel. Long-time viewers, short-time viewers, whatever the case is, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I truly, truly appreciate it. I worked so hard for this video, but I am so going to enjoy this yard. It is taking shape. So with that, be blessed. Have a beautiful week. Have happy planting, happy gardening, happy growing season ahead of you. Oh, it is so beautiful. It is such a beautiful blessing to get to live this life and have these things. So thank you for being here for all of that. With that, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.